Sorry. It's all good.
Okay, so as we're toasting a hot new couple, I'd just like to say a few words to my main man, Chris. God damn it. It's been 15 years, buddy. So, just a few words. I can remember the first day when I met you, Christopher James Walsh, or Seabird, as he is affectionately referred to in Vancouver. It was the first day of chemistry class in university. After 4 hours of careful instruction following and mixing of various reactants, there was a small kerfuffle that started to brew in the corner of the laboratory. Do you remember this, Walsh? Yes. All right. Painful memories, he says. He was about 6'2" and 160 pounds. He had glasses resembling the bottoms of Coke bottles. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, he was repeating to himself. The final product that he so carefully put together had slipped out of his fingers and onto the ground. For Chris, it was a devastating day for the first day of university. For the rest of us, we knew we were going to get a passing grade on our experiment, so we were feeling pretty good. Thank you, Chris, for helping us to pass our first chemistry laboratory. Chris and I quickly became friends. He taught me how to play tennis. I taught him how to play basketball. He taught me how to download pirated music from the internet. I taught him how to dance to it. I guess we had what you guys would call a mutually beneficial relationship. But some of you guys might not know that Chris was an exceptionally talented student. He excelled through his university studies. He volunteered at St. John's Ambulance, and he had a great ear for music. You name the song, he could basically retroactively transcribe it into piano and play it. And as some of you may or may not know, Chris graduated from grade 10 piano with honors. He would never say that to anyone else because he's that humble of a guy. So put your hands together for Chris, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not kidding you. Chris is probably one of the most genuine people who I know. He's never put himself before the needs of others. Over the years, he's traveled to several countries to be with the people who he cares about most. This includes places like Ireland, Switzerland, and even to the country where I live, Newfoundland. Now Chris, he's not a bad-looking guy. In fact, he kind of always reminded me of Pete Sampras. Does anyone here think that Chris looks like Pete Sampras? Now this is a true story, but when Chris arrived to Switzerland, the girls went crazy. I don't know what it was, but they were all asking about Chris. Oh my gosh, Chris. And Swiss girls are like fairly particular. They're not very easy to please with all their wine and their chocolate and all the money that they're accustomed to. And when Chris left, all the girls were still asking about him. They're like, where's Chris? When's he coming back? And nobody understood it. It's not like he was some tall, dark, and handsome doctor who played the piano beautifully. Wait a sec. He kind of was. But the world works in mysterious ways. And although BC, which is where Chris grew up, as many of you may or may not know, although BC was sad to see him go to the land of poutine and shady contract deals. Come on, man. It was that fateful move that brought him to his future bride, Jen. Now, Jen compliments Chris perfectly. She's smart, she's beautiful, she's witty, she's well-traveled. And she has basically tamed Chris Walsh. Since meeting Jen, Chris combs his hair now from time to time. He even goes camping. makes his own hummus. And this is the guy, I kid you not, who ate canned ham and brown rice for every single day of his undergraduate education. So what Jen has accomplished is no small feat. Please put your hands together for Jen. Now I want to bring you back to that first day of chemistry class. And if those students only knew that Chris would become a board-certified internist with subspecialty training in respirology. For those of you who don't know, that has to do with the lungs, I recently learned. Who is also doing a research fellowship at the University of Toronto. I think if they knew that, everybody would have dropped their experiments that day. Chris, you're like a brother to me. Jen, that makes you a sister to me. But Chris and Jen, you are not brother and sister. So everybody, please raise your glasses to the Eastern Township's hottest couple 2013.